In this environment, if you're not reading, if you're not into accountability, you're like, look, I like to hide behind the things I'm not doing. Don't hold me accountable, because when you're not held accountable, you can easily hide behind the work you're not doing. When you're not showing up, going to the growth seminars, right? Whatever we're growing in, whether we're learning business or you're learning leadership. At some point,
you stick out like a sore thumb.
Exactly. At some point, you start feeling like, nah, I'm not going to do this.
Because you feel like you don't belong.
Right.
Right?
Right. But you can.
You can.
You can. There's no prerequisite for you. It's a choice. It's a decision that I want to grow.
Right.
I want to say better things to myself. But again, the hard part is that it's like, well, what's wrong with the person I've been?
Right.
This is who I am. You know, when people say, this is who I am, it's just my personality, but it doesn't have to be.
And at any moment, even if you are that person, you can change.
That's my point. You don't have to stay
at any moment.
Right. It's just a decision that, I want to be different. And guess what? You're not automatically different. So you don't just change your destination because you make a decision, but you change the direction towards the destination.
If you're a go-getter, faith-driven, and family-focused, and need to break through to your next level, this is the podcast for you. Your self-talk can reshape every area of your life. It's time to dream and think big. Welcome to the Self-Talk Experience with Darnell and Tracy Self. It's time to elevate, baby. Let's get into the show.
Hey out there, welcome to the Self-Talk Experience. I am extra excited today. You want to know why?
Why?
Because this is the 99th episode. Oh my gosh. We almost at 100 episodes. Oh
crazy. What do you want to do for the 100th episode?
I don't know. It could be a surprise.
Yeah. I'm thinking of a really good surprise.
I think so too. We think alike. So I think we're thinking of the same surprise.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I can't wait. I can't wait. But until then, we are here today with the Self-Talk Experience. I am Tracy Self.
And I am Darnell Self.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So guess what? Self-talk. The things I say to myself about myself
will eventually attract who and even what you have.
That's right, exactly
for
right.
yourself, right?
That's exactly right. And we say it all the time, but it's so true. And I think about all the times where I've shifted my self-talk and how I felt differently when I talked differently about whatever that situation was.
It can change your mood.
Yep.
It can change your mindset.
Yep.
It can change so much for you if you really focus in on it and think about it.
Yep. It changes how you engage with folks, what you allow to upset you, how quickly you allow it to upset you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I found that I become more patient with shifting my self-talk, because I must admit that it's been hard for me to tolerate certain things for a certain amount of time.
That's okay. That's honest. Yeah.
And so I'm like, I need this to hurry up. But I become more patient because I've been intentionally shifting my self-talk.
Yes. So and I've been doing the same thing.
No, you have. Yeah. And it has been amazing. And so we really pray after 100 episodes almost that, we have all of our audience has been working on their own self-talk.
Yes. And I think we've been doing it together. It's been a journey from episode 1 all the way up to episode 99.
Yes.
I'm so much more comfortable.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it. I can't imagine where you'll be at 200 or 500.
Oh my gosh. I'm excited. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, let's go. Well, listen, today.
Yes. What are you talking about today?
The things that influence and impact your self-talk the most.
Oh, okay.
Because if you knew that, you could shift the things that cause you to say better things to yourself and therefore saying better things to yourself.
Sure.
So folks are like, man, I really want to say better things to myself, especially if you're telling me that the story I'm telling myself about myself, like that thing that I continue to replay over and over again is causing me to remain stuck in life or to continue to be in this cyclical place where I keep choosing the same type of people. I keep choosing the same type of careers. I keep, making the same financial mistakes. And it's only because we keep saying the same thing. We replay the same things over and over again.
So tweaking your self-talk can make all the difference.
Absolutely.
All the difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this is critical to remind everyone the few things that cause us to shift our self-talk.
Now, when you say a few, how many exactly do you mean?
Let's see. 5.
Okay.
Is that too many? You want to make it 4?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Such a hater.
I mean, sometimes you just don't know how to close it out, babe.
Yeah, she's like my number one fan and my number one hater, all in one.
Really?
I mean, not really, but
that's because I'm the full package.
Okay, see, that's self-talk. Number one, the number one thing that can impact your self-talk is your family. So most of us were raised in a family where we still do things, or we did things growing up that we just saw, that we experienced.
Okay.
We talked like our family. So we're like, man, where you from? And this because of that environment. It was, initially our family.
Right.
And so if our family was negative, perhaps we were a little negative.
Okay.
If our family is really positive, perhaps we were positive. If our family didn't tolerate certain things, then we didn't tolerate certain things.
Right.
Right? If your family's like, hey, we say yes around here. We don't say yeah or nah.
Right.
So all of that starts to impact also the things we're saying to ourselves. Like, you'll never succeed. You're dumb. Or, oh my gosh, you're the smartest little girl I've ever seen. You that self-talk is like, I'm smart. My dad says I'm smart.
Right. See? That's good. Yeah.
So it's like, you're going to have whatever you want. Whatever you want, God will provide for you. They're playing with their toys and they're like, I have a big house. As my dad says, I can have whatever I want.
Right.
This is going to be my car. Like that they start talking to themselves.
Right.
So family. Would you agree?
I agree. I think so. I think that it's important because your family is who you're around the most, especially at a young age. And sometimes it doesn't have to be our immediate family. Some of us were raised by aunts and grandmothers and being around cousins all the time.
Yep.
So that makes a big difference. Yeah, it really does.
Makes a huge. So initially family. And then, of course, you start going to school. We start making friends. And so friends, number two. Look, we're already on number two.
But do you feel like you seek out friends once you leave out, like to start school? Do you feel like you're drawn to people who are more like your household?
Not all the time.
Or if it's a household that's not so positive, maybe you look for the exact opposite. It's sometimes.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's a possibility. Right? I'm sure it's a possibility. But sometimes it's situational, right? So you're in the first grade and you're sitting next to someone every day in the same class. So that may cause some relationship or friendship there.
That's true.
Right? Maybe it's somebody you sit next to at lunch.
Right.
Maybe somebody you guys share the same lunch box. Like little things like that end up happening.
True. Yeah.
Which cause people to make friends with certain people.
Yeah, that's funny because our daughter, one of her best friends, she met the first day of orientation in high school because their last names were beside each other.
Yeah.
And she came home and said, I think I found a friend.
Wow.
And they're, seniors in college are still best friends.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like you said.
Yeah, so that happens. Yeah. And so what happens with friends, depending on how they grew up, they now can impact the other's self-talk. Because someone grew up, and again, their family member said, you can do whatever you want. You can have whatever you want. You can go wherever you want. You're strong. You're resilient. You're courageous. You're right. So that's all they heard. And so they like, this is what they say about themselves.
Yeah.
And someone else grew up in the opposite household. And so now that person becomes friends. So one is going to influence the other.
Right.
Prayerfully, the positive one will influence the one who says negative things about themselves, but that's not always the case. Yeah. And this is how I know it. Because I've had friendships that I was so close to the people that I could tell when they shifted their associations by the things they started to say. Even with our own kids, I've said, who you been hanging out with when they were growing up? Because the things they started to say, I'm like, that
doesn't sound like you.
Doesn't sound like you.
Right.
It sounds like somebody else. And I can tell when they've changed their associations, because associations cause us to think the way we think, do the things we do, say the things we say.
Yeah, all the time.
Right? So that's why, because all of a sudden, if you hang out with people who maybe, and not that this, I'm not judging, I'm saying that if you hang out with people who use profanity all the time, you probably end up using profanity. It's the nature of the beast of associate is so powerful.
Yeah, but that could be also with starting to drink or do things that aren't appropriate.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why, we have to be careful with the people we choose in our circle as friends, because if the things they're saying, we feel like, man, I would never say that to myself.
Yes.
Then let's do our best because you all are watching the self-talk experience. Let's do our best to help them to say better things to themselves. Like, hey, how about say it this way?
Right.
Right. And you just, if they like, I can't believe I'll never be able to do such and such. Like, well, how about you shift that and say, I can't wait to be able to.
Right.
That means it's coming.
It's on the way.
Right. It's coming. And I can't wait for that, my season, for me to be able to enjoy whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'll never be able to, makes it feel like it's never going to come. And you just told yourself it wasn't. So now anything that happens, you're like, it's probably not going to last. It's probably going to break.
Well, that's what you're playing in your mind.
Right,
over
exactly.
And over
so
again.
now you, unfortunately, become self-sabotaging. And that's what people do. Self-sabotage things that are right there. They kill it.
Right. And that is, unfortunately, sometimes how you lose friends.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can go so far off, you're not attractive to that person anymore that you really used to be close to.
Yeah.
And you look up and you wonder what happened. Somebody changed.
Right.
So was it you or was it them?
Right.
And sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow when you come to the realization it was you that changed and pushed them away.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you don't get another shot at it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But listen, and I just want to make sure the audience gets that change is good.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm saying changing in a different way.
Right, in a negative way.
Exactly right. Where you're just, no one wants to be around.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And I think, at some point, we all should grow together. Like, I'm not finished growing. You're not finished growing. So the people that you're friends with, you want them to grow with you. Because if you continue to grow and they don't, then there's still some chasm. There's some separation there.
Right. But again, it goes back to communication, because if you care about a relationship, you have the conversations.
Right.
You communicate.
Right.
And you fix it.
Right. Yeah.
If it's fixable.
Yeah. But that's easy to say, right? Because if someone's not willing to grow, they feel like, you always, and it's not all that. It doesn't take all of that, because you're becoming someone that could be intimidating to the person that they're remaining.
Wow. Yeah. I see that. That's true.
And so because they refuse to expand that comfort zone, because expanding your comfort zone is not always easy, because that means you're going to be uncomfortable. Otherwise, it would be inside your comfort zone. So whenever you're going to become someone you've never become before, it's actually uncomfortable. And most folks don't want to become uncomfortable. They're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you're outside your comfort zone, you're going to make mistakes. You're probably going to fall down. You're going to say some things that may be embarrassing, because you're like, why did I even say that? Because you're in an environment that you're not used to.
Right.
So family, friends.
And the workplace.
Or
who you're in business with.
Yep.
Right.
That one's tough.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, man, I want to keep my career. I want to keep my business. But you can't always change the staff. Can't always change your boss.
But sometimes it could be positive, because I talk about all the time when I used to work at Black Entertainment Television, and my boss there was so amazing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a good time for me. Or financially, we were not doing well, and it was tough, coming in and still smiling and getting the job done. But she was so gracious and she was so accommodating to me, and I just love her. So she helped shift my self-talk, and she didn't even realize that she was doing that at the time.
Yeah.
Really helped me. So sometimes it could also be so empowering to be around people who have your best interests at heart and are helping you, and they may not ever even know it, and they may not know it at the time, right? So shout out to Veronica Hutchinson. I love you.
Yeah, she's a special
Amazing
person, and really was there for you when we were going through our struggles.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you're talking about how your work environment can really bless you. Like my environment, the culture that we built with the team of entrepreneurs that we get a chance to work with, we all read.
Yes.
Because we have a book of the month, so we read together, which means we're growing together.
Yes.
We all attend events together where we're learning together, right? We are personally developing ourselves together. We hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
So it's a really good environment. And here's what happens in this environment. In this environment, if you're not reading, if you're not into accountability, you're like, look, I like to hide behind the things I'm not doing. Don't hold me accountable, because when you're not held accountable, you can easily hide behind the work you're not doing. when you're not showing up, going to the growth seminars, right? Whatever we're growing in, whether we're learning business or you're learning leadership. At some point,
you stick out like a sore thumb.
Exactly. At some point, you start feeling like, nah, I'm not going to do this.
Because you feel like you don't belong.
Right.
Right?
Right. But you can.
You can.
You can. There's no prerequisite for you. It's a choice. It's a decision that I want to grow.
Right.
I want to say better things to myself. But again, the hard part is that it's like, well, what's wrong with the person I've been?
Right.
This is who I am. You know, when people say this is who I am, it's just my personality, but it doesn't have to be.
And at any moment, even if you are that person, you can change.
That's my point. You don't have to stay
at any moment.
Right. It's just a decision that, you know what, I want to be different. And guess what? You're not automatically different. So you don't just change your destination because you make a decision, but you change the direction towards the destination, right? If you're going fast the wrong way, man, sometimes it's hard to come back. You're like, man, I went all the way down there. I remember getting lost before, and I was so lost, I didn't even want to go to the place anymore.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? You've been lost for a while. You're like, I ain't even going.
Just forget it.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes people are so far back, they feel like, you know what, never mind. So I don't want people to think that because you make the decision to grow and because you make the decision to say better things to yourself by changing your friends, can't really change your family, but by changing your friends and change your work environment and all these great things that we talked about, that all of a sudden tomorrow you're going to be different. And this is why you have to offer grace to people, because they're going to make the mistake. They're still going to say negative things unintentionally. If they've been saying negative things for 30 years, they're not going to all of a sudden in 3 weeks say all positive things. They're going to slip.
Yeah.
And it just takes a good friend to have that grace. And it's like, hey, look, remember? And they're like, yes, man. Thank you.
Right. Remember, we're working on that, right?
Right. That's it. Right. Not beating up on them for that.
Sure. That's good.
We said family, friends, workplace, life experiences.
Life experience is a good one.
Yeah, life experiences.
Because that's why we are the way we are.
I know.
And you're away, and the person you're communicating is away, and you have no idea what they've gone through.
Exactly.
Or even what they're dealing with in that moment, right?
Yep.
And so you can get a reaction that may not be typical because of life experiences and where they are. Yep. And it could explode in a bad way, right? Look, so how do you fare through that?
Well, look, I never, growing up, I grew up in the suburbs. So I never had to worry about walking down the street, wondering if I was going to get robbed. That wasn't like top of mind for me.
Right.
Even though somebody did come in my backyard and steal my bike when I was little.
Yeah, but your mom got it back for you, remember?
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, your mom went and got it.
I know, that was so embarrassing. That was so embarrassing, man, to have my mom go. My mom and dad, I think, were divorced at that time.
Oh, babe.
So my mom was like, no, get in the car. We're going to ride around the neighborhood until we find it. I was like, no, I almost just rather not have my bike than have my mom ride around in the Datsun B210 hatchback.
Oh, wow. What color was it, babe?
Orange.
Yes. I was not expecting that. Okay. Well, no, but my dad used to drive. My dad drove a green Gremlin.
Ooh.
So here we are.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's perfect. Halloween season.
Here we are.
Green and orange. All right. So life experiences, and you were spot on. Sometimes we're talking to folks. Yeah. And we have no idea.
And they're not relating one bit.
Right.
And what you're talking about.
Right.
At all.
Well, and here's my point. We have to be sensitive to allow other people's life experiences to help them get down this path to saying better things to themselves. Maybe a longer journey. Right. Because their mother was the one who was saying all of the belittling things to them, demeaning things to them. And because you've never experienced that, how can you judge that person from saying those things to themselves? So instead of judging, all I'm saying is help that person, be a friend. Yeah. And two, you can get permission. Because if you just met them, you're like, you need to, I don't even tell you what somebody did to me the other day about, Christianity. And I was thinking to myself, no, this is why you don't, you were a part of it. So you remember. And I was like, no, this is why people feel a certain way about religion. It's because how she approached it. Right. And so it's the same thing with self-talk. Like certain people have a longer journey before they can start saying they may not even know that what they're saying is negative self-talk. No one's ever identified it or labeled it as that. So they just think, I don't understand. So it takes time to get, look there I am with the voice, but they just don't understand that it takes time to get there.
And everybody starts at a different time.
That's my point. It started a different time in a different place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So life experience, just understand that there's some life experiences out there that I personally am so grateful and thankful I've never had to go through. And so certain other people, they have gone through a lot.
Yeah.
And so all I'm saying is that in order for you to say better things to yourself, about yourself, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah. But also, babe, your life experiences could be amazing and could be how you are inspiring and able to help someone come out of where they were.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because everything's not bad.
Yep.
Some people have had amazing experiences that they can share and someone can find comfort in.
Yeah.
Right?
But you know what's so funny? Even with great life experiences, if you've not heard of self-talk, if you've not joined the self-talk podcast, or you've not been introduced to personal development, you can have great life experiences and still look at stuff as negative.
That's true. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like you still, I shouldn't say it's crazy, but it's just, it's real.
Right. Right.
I'm like, you have a lot going on in life. Like you're healthy.
Yeah.
Right? You're not worried about some of the challenges that the majority of people, not just in the first world country, specifically, obviously the first world country, that's where we live, but a third world country is dealing with some stuff. But even here, like you have a lot to be thankful for and grateful for. And so sometimes people even have those wonderful life experiences, but because again, no one's ever helped them to shape their self-talk, they still find the glass half empty instead of glass half full. Sure. So we're just trying to help people to see that, self-talk is something that we should be able to identify when we're heading in the wrong direction, shift it so that we don't end up digging ourselves a hole that later on we wonder, how did I get here?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
Hopefully, because of, I only did 4.
Do you have 5? Do you want to do one more? Do you have another one?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead, babe. Yes, I would love to hear it. But
let's do 7.
No, let's do 5.
Okay.
One more.
Okay.
What you have?
So the last one, we're talking about things that help you to say better things to yourself, right?
Yes.
Family, friends, workplace, life experiences. The last one is repetition or habit. So in anything in life, you want to change your results, change your habits. You want to change your habits, change what you repeatedly do. In anything. Success is a bunch of habits strung together.
Yeah.
Failure, a bunch of habits strung together. Right? So somebody's waking up early, getting on their grind, doing it, and they make it a habit out of it. And they end up getting great results from working out because they were consistent with it. Someone else does the opposite and they end up going down a road that's not as healthy.
Right.
Or we can just choose a lot of different things there. Fill in the blank. But so what I'm saying is that start doing something that changes what you would normally do to get the different results than you would ordinarily get. So if you're not happy with your results, somebody like, I'm really not happy with the results I have with whatever, then let's change the activity that could lead to better results.
That's good. And if you change your activity and watch your self-talk, you're winning.
Yep, exactly right. It's exactly right. And here's what most people are going to need in order to stay consistent with that changed activity, because it's a new activity, because habits normally don't just go away. They're replaced.
Sure.
And if they're replaced by some consistent activity. If it's inconsistent activity, then it's not a habit yet.
Right.
So in order to create a habit out of something you normally wouldn't do, because we're talking about doing something you normally wouldn't do, you have to be held accountable by somebody who's willing to make sure they're paying attention. Or you can ask their permission. Hey, can you hold me accountable? My goal is to do this activity for the next 20 days, the next 30 days. And like, all right. And then every day to shoot you a text. Hey, did you do such and such? Hey, did you work out? Hey, did you, whatever it is.
That's good.
Right? Did you remember to say, I love you to your kids?
Yeah.
And so every day, and before you know it, they always say, I love you.
Right.
Before anyone leaves the house, I love you.
That's good.
Right. So whatever it is you want to create a habit out of, create a new activity, find someone to hold you accountable, and then make it a habit. And when you shift the habit, you'll shift your results. So that's 5.
Yeah. I shifted my habit. I used to, years ago, I had a habit of drinking soda. I just drink coffee now. See? Yeah, it's different.
But you did change the habit. But guess what? You don't drink any juices, only water, wine, and coffee.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a good day.
What did you say? You're like hydrated? I forgot what you used to say.
I'm either hydrated, tipsy, or hyper.
Oh, man. But you also shifted and you're a pescatarian.
I did.
For how long? Man.
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
Yes.
I would have never guessed that.
Yes. But again, like you said,
decision.
It became a habit. I made the decision and it became a habit. And now it's just this way of life.
Right.
It's just what I do.
Yeah,
and I enjoy it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Just remember to continue to say better things to yourself about yourself. And if we continue to play the old movie from yesteryear over and over and over again, we'll continue to think the same way we thought a long time ago. We want to help you to shift your thinking. To shift your thinking, you got to play a new movie, right? And to play a new movie, you got to say different things to yourself. And you start to see something that doesn't even exist yet. And when you see something that you don't currently have, you see yourself as somewhere that you're not currently are. And that's going to be one of the most important things to help you to draw your future to you. So I'm looking forward to hearing that testimony. Remember, this is a self-talk experience where the things we say to ourselves about ourselves eventually will determine what we attract for ourselves.
Episode 99 in the books, babe.
Let's go.
And if someone steals your bike, just call Darnell's mom.
Thank you for listening to the Self-Talk Podcast with Darnell and Tracy Self. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. And we'll see you next time. And remember, talk good to yourself.